First tonight in our news weekend, we continue to follow that tragedy in Grand Bahama as the Ministry of Education says it's probing the shocking death of a little boy following a deadly playground incident. Plus, more rent-to-own homes are coming to San Salvador. The Ministry of Housing and Urban Renewal says they're still on track to put more Bahamians in low homes this year. And later, the Bahamas National Trust launches a campaign focused on member appreciation. Our entertainment correspondent Daniel Miller shares the details. Our news weekend starts right now. Welcome to our news and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Berthany McDermott. The Ministry of Education launching an investigation following the tragic death of that toddler on a private school campus in Grand Bahama Friday. In a statement, the ministry said its preschool unit and the Preschool and Daycare Council are probing the incident. We recently learned the toddler's injuries came after he was struck by an object. In a statement, the ministry said the shocking incident sent shockwaves throughout the education community, adding their thoughts are with the family, loved ones, and school staff during this time of grief. Residents and the business community in Grand Bahama are hoping government clears up funding for the redevelopment of the Grand Bahama International Airport. They say they're long overdue for a new airport. Earlier this week, it was revealed that the long-promised redevelopment of the airport had once again ground to a halt after the private partners tapped to lead the $200 million project failed to secure financing. Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation Chester Cooper telling reporters on the sidelines of a tour of the Nassau Straw Market that financing was initially supposed to be procured by the winning consortium that featured Manchester Airport Group, which would have had a management agreement to operate the facility, but it had not delivered the funding officials expected. Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce President Dylan Knowles says he hopes a resolution is met soon. He says the facility is important for the full recovery of Grand Bahama's economy.
So functionally, we have an airport that is handling the current demand with the utilization of the quote-unquote domestic terminal for both domestic and international flights. Obviously, the domestic terminal would not meet the requirements for a U.S. pre-clearance, as that was the major component of the international, well, what I call the U.S. airport before. So we're limping along at the moment.
Knowles says while the airport is important, it won't be the only answer in providing relief to the community that suffered economically for years.
Visitors don't go to airports. They pass through airports on the way to the attractions that they want to partake in. And by the way, they also stay in hotels because they have come to engage in attractions. So hotels in and of themselves, or rooms in and of themselves, and airports in and of themselves are not really the attraction. And so we have to look at them in that light.
Despite some delays, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Renewal says they're still on track to put more Bahamians in low-cost homes this year. The housing scheme rolled out by the Davis administration in 2021 has provided homes for hundreds of residents. But what's been the latest after a few months of silence? Our Joshua Williams has the answer.
Housing Minister Keith Bell providing an update on the government's rent-to-own home initiative. The Davis administration, in its blueprint for change, promised low-cost home for taxpayers. But it's been several months since they last handed keys to residents in Eleuthera. Bell insists they've been working behind the scenes.
On Friday past, I went over to San Salvador. I'm very pleased with the rent-to-own homes that we are constructing down there. We're on target for an opening as around December, give or take. From there, I went over to Andrews. We have a subdivision, Little Harbor subdivision, where we have over 140 lots in there.
The plan, he says, is to construct homes on some of the lots and sell the rest of the property at low cost. So far, homes have been given away in New Providence and Pinecrest and Renaissance. In Abaco, government gave away homes in Spring City and Central Pines. In South Eleuthera, 4 residents received homes in Ocean Hole. The nation's second city, he says, is next.
As well as in Grand Bahama, we're ready to go down to Grand Bahama with the Heritage Subdivision, West End, West Heights Subdivision. We're also looking at Bohemia. We're hoping to build homes in all of those areas, as well as garden villas. We have gotten some of the approvals. It's a very tedious process in terms of getting all of the approvals for permitting in Grand Bahama, but we are happy where we are, and we anticipate that we're going to be building a significant number of homes in those islands.
And with government being the largest landowner in the country, Bell says the focus is not only building and selling homes, but improving the subdivisions that already exist.
So, for instance, we have written to the Prime Minister as Minister in his capacity as Minister of Land for land of significant acreage in different islands. And so in some areas we have already gotten the Crown land. In other areas we have already gotten subdivision approval. In other areas we have gotten the certificate of environmental clearing. And in other areas we have also began putting in infrastructure. And so in all of these different areas you have subdivisions at varying stages, just as it is here in New Providence.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Thanks, Joshua. Beginning on September 29th, women from the age of 16 are being invited to participate in the CERT Bahamas She Secures Cybersecurity Summit. CERT Bahamas stands for Computer Incident Response Team of the Bahamas, and they are the national authority for cybersecurity responses throughout the country. The goal of the summit? Exploring opportunities for women in the cybersecurity industry, as well as empowering and educating women on the issue. Women will also have an opportunity to engage in real-time scenarios they must solve involving cybersecurity tactics. CERT Bahamas Director Sumitria McKinney talks to us about the event.
The She Secure Cybersecurity Initiative is specifically geared towards women and girls and cybersecurity, with the goal of inclusion for women, as well as building capacity to get more women into the pipeline of cybersecurity and to keep them there. The CERT is particularly proud of this initiative because this is the first of its kind within the country, and a primary goal for us is to build not only national cybersecurity resilience, but also to foster capacity in order to have the same resilience that we want.
Sponsoring the event is the Cable Bahamas group of companies through the Alive brand. The company's Information Security Director, Shakira Johnson, explains why these sponsorships are important and why women should take advantage.
We believe that this is an exciting and powerful platform where young women will have the opportunity to come and get hands-on experience and skills on cybersecurity, which is an area where we have low capacity here in the Bahamas. Opportunities like this did not exist for me, so I always jump at the opportunity to support any initiative that would help to boost the awareness of cybersecurity, the career opportunities that exist. This is a thriving field. This is a field where we need the next generation of leaders to come and really take advantage and take this country to the next level.
When Our News Weekend comes back from the break, class is in. The Creative and Performing Arts School is set to welcome 50 students on Monday. Plus, the story of how a daughter gave up her dream job to become a caregiver for her mother. We have her inspiring story when Our News Weekend returns.
Family, how you look so down? Set up all cold and flu, could flip that frown. All the coughing and that runny nose cannot last. You must come back to work and class. Set them all can deal with that fast, yeah. Try set them all cold and flu, daytime and nighttime too. Try set them all cold and flu and get back to the better you. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Distributed by Lowe's Wholesale Drug Agencies Limited.
Them blue for me and you, and I say to myself, what a wonderful world.
The Creative and Performing Arts School is set to welcome 50 students at its grand opening this Monday, according to project lead Ian Poitier. The opening has been years in the making, and according to Poitier, officials have been engaged in an active and rigorous recruiting process. They've also assembled a team of Bahamians to take the institution forward. The school will be located at the old Phil's Food Store on Gladstone Road, and the space will be outfitted with dance, recording studios, and more.
So this is the first year, the foundation year. The full-time course is a 3-year course, the BA Honours course. So think of this times 3. We're slightly higher, I think, than we would want for each year, But if we think of 25 in each year, that means at any given time we have a full complement of 75 students in each year, which is quite a significant load. For the evening course, we can expand a bit more widely than that, because obviously on a part-time syllabus, you want to accommodate people who are working and so on.
And the team leading the institution forward consists of some familiar faces from the Orange economy, who have all in their own way made their impact.
My connection to Kappas is, like he said, in the musical directing. That will be dealing with productions as well as preparation for those productions.
As head of producing, I will be in charge of everything TV, film, theater production related and the production arts. Everything will be, looked at to be a certain quality and standard, and making sure that I can also help provide international opportunities for these students.
A dream job is something you fight to attain for years, and once you have it, you feel on top of the world. Thea Saunders was living that dream until her mother's illness took a turn for the worst, leading to her making the decision to leave her corporate career to become a caregiver. Danielle Miller has her inspiring story tonight.
When I was younger, my family would take us on trips to Atlantis, and there are still family photos that circulate in the group chat of me and my cousins to this day. But the story of Thea Saunders got me thinking, what if one of my family members one day could not remember the memories, the adventures that were captured in that photo? You see, Thea Saunders is a woman who had her dream job, but had to abruptly leave to come home and take care of her mother with dementia.
Get out.
Want me help you?
No.
So you want me to give you some time?
I don't need you to give me no time and you've been cursing all the people.
That's one of the videos from Thea's social media page. She gives audiences a glimpse into her life taking care of her mother, who now suffers from dementia. She says her mom started to act unusual following a mild stroke. Then one incident made her realize it was far more serious than strange behavior. It was a symptom of the neurodegenerative disease.
She woke up in the middle of the night and she was very disoriented, and she was extremely frustrated with me over every little thing. It was kind of confusing for me as well. And I knew from there, yeah, this had to be it.
With tears in her eyes, she says she and her family now face a chilling reality as they watch the woman who once was a caregiver become a shell of her former self.
It's like you're watching death in real time and not at the point of their last breath. It's almost like you watch a human being dwindle, and not in the way of sickness. It's in the blank stares. It's in the referring to something that Thea did, her daughter did. So she may refer to something in the house like, oh, Thea liked those type of stuff, but Thea's standing right here.
The ordeal has pushed her to use her platform to bring awareness. She made this plea to all adults with aging parents.
I think we have to pay a little bit more attention to them. And dementia is something where it's truly not their fault. They can eat healthy, they can exercise, but one little thing can really cause dementia to be triggered.
And for those families that are impacted by dementia,
you have to kind of put yourself in their shoes in this entire experience. If you are losing all of your faculties, you don't remember anything. You don't even remember the person in the front of you. Your job is to just have patience.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Danielle Miller.
Thanks, Danielle. Still to come on Our News Weekend, influencers mix and mingle at the Creative Experience, which launched right here in the Bahamas. But first,
we're going to hit the pitch with the UB Mingos. That's coming up next on our Sports Weekend.
Family, how you look so down? Set up all cold and flu, could flip that frown. All the coughing and that running nose cannot last. You must come back to work and class. Set them all can deal with that fast, yeah. Try set them all cold and flu, daytime and nighttime too. Try Setamol, cold and flu, and get back to the better you. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Distributed by Lowe's Wholesale Drug Agencies Limited.
They're blue for me and you, and I say to myself,
Good evening, I'm Tej Adderley, and we are back with our sports weekend. The University of the Bahamas Mingos have a proud soccer tradition, and this weekend they hit the pitch against some international competition. The Mingos were in the Sunshine State to play Atlantis University this weekend. They played a thriller on Friday night, getting on the board first thanks to a globe from Nahim Johnson, playing in his first match in the Royal Blue. Claire Jabinski added a goal in the 68th minute to tie the game up 2-2 before Atlantis went up 3-2 1 minute later. Ronaldo Green hit the free kick to make the game 3-3, and that's how the game ended in a stalemate. Here's how they felt about the match.
Just seeing the opportunity, I kind of did my job, and the way I seen it, it gave the team more momentum in the game since it was the first minute, so it kind of gave us a little push at the start.
Today, I think the team played a fantastic game. Granted, we played against a great opponent. They're good on the ball, team well-rounded, but I think we could have came out to win.
It's just come naturally. I get the ball, drive, that's all I just do. I just got to keep going because, I'm just doing what I got to do, my job, really. So I just got to keep scoring goals and really just give the team what the team needs.
That series continued last night. We'll have more on that later in the week. Now we head over to Japan, where the decathlete is making waves on the track and in the field. Kendrick Thompson started his event Saturday and would finish 8th overall in the decathlon in the final day of the championships. Overall, Thompson came away with 8,715 points, just 7 points shy of his personal best score of 8,182 points. He came 6th in his 100-meter heat, finishing in 10.94 seconds. He jumped with 7.54 meters in the long jump, finishing 6th in his group. Thompson then came 12th in the shot put with a throw of 12.56 meters and 5th in his 400-meter heat, running it in 47.93 seconds. He also ran a personal best in the 110-meter hurdles, going 2nd in his heat in 14.15 seconds. Other events included the long jump, the discus throw, the pole vault, the javelin throw, where he had a personal best throw of 68.02 meters, and the last event was the 1,500 meters. Now, Kendrick's bounced back from some rough times, and he's worked himself back into form to get on the world stage. So it's great to see him competing again. This is the highest placing ever for the Bahamas in a decathlon at a global outdoor championship. Well, that's a wrap for sports for this evening. For our sports weekend, I'm Tej Adderley.
Thanks, Tej. The Bahamas National Trust hosts a sip and paint that connects nature and creativity. We'll tell you how it went when our News Weekend returns.
Family, how you look so down? Set up all cold and flu, could flip that frown. All the coughing and that running nose cannot last. You must come back to work and class. Set them all can deal with that fast, yeah. Try set them all cold and flu, daytime and nighttime too. Try set them all cold and flu and get back to the better you. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Distributed by Lowe's Wholesale Drug Agencies Limited.
They're blue for me and you, and I say to myself, what a wonderful world.
Welcome back to our News Weekend. Cloudy and rainy conditions expected to continue this week. Meteorologist Ian McKinsey joins us now with what you need to know. Ian.
Thanks, Berthany, and good evening, Bahamas. Welcome to your Sunday evening forecast as we wind down and prepare for the upcoming week. Cloudy conditions on the outside, temperature of 84, feels like very warm at 92, winds from the east-northeast at 7 miles per hour. Temperatures across the country, we have 82s in Freeport as well as Marsh Harbor, 83 in Alistown, 84s in Nicholstown, Great Albuquerque, the capital, and 85 in Governor's Harbor, Eleuthera. Central Bahamas 84s continuing in Kemps Bay, Deadman's Key, and in Coburn Town, San Salvador 85s at Arthurstown, Black Point, at Georgetown, Exuma, as well as Port Nelson, Rum Key. Southeast Bahamas 86 in Duncantown, as well as Providenciales, Turks and Caicos, a pair of 84s in Colonel Hill and Delectable Bay, Aucklands, 83 in Abrahams Bay, Mayaguana, and 85 in Matthewtown, Inagua. Satellite and radar composite at this time. Persistent troughing mainly across the northwest and portions of the central Bahamas. this persistent trough will finally start to move towards the west and out of our area. However, we still expect some residual troughing across the area, weaker than previously we've been experiencing, so that should continue to enhance some light to moderate shower activity. Taking a look at the tropics right now, we have Gabrielle out there. Gabrielle is about 65 miles per hour, should get up to hurricane strength by the end of this forecast later tonight. Behind Gabrielle, the National Hurricane Center is monitoring area of tropical wave. This system has about a medium % chance for possible development. We want to continue to monitor the progress of the system because TRAX has it coming somewhat just to the east of the island, so we want to monitor that carefully. Taking a look now at our outlook tropics at this time, we're looking at possible medium chance by midweek for developments, as I spoke about earlier with that tropical wave, and in the Western Caribbean. Later in the week, there is a low chance for possible development in that area. Boating forecasts, great boating conditions, winds east to southeast 10 knots or less, seas running 1 to 3, but up to 5 feet in those swells, courtesy of Gabrielle. High tide at 8:28 p.m. tonight, low tide at 2:42 a.m. tomorrow morning. In your extended forecast, showers can be expected, but as I spoke to you about possible development of another cyclone that should pass to the east of us based on forecast track, that should dry things out a bit into next weekend. However, we want to keep our fingers crossed and monitor the progress of that system. High temperatures getting up into the upper 80s, low 90s, low temperatures falling down in the mid to upper 70s. That's a wrap in the evening forecast. Make it a great, safe, fun week, everyone.
Thanks, Ian. The Creative Experience launching their inaugural influencer retreat recently. It's a collaboration between Bevy Experiences and Altascape Create, founded by Janae Simonet and Demetia Dean, respectively. Bevy Experiences is a curated experience platform for corporate groups looking to build camaraderie and groups visiting the Bahamas that are looking for new experiences. Altascape Create is a travel platform for creatives with the goal of building community and travel experiences within that community. Simnet tells us how the companies came together to plan the weekend experience.
The collaboration made so much sense because again, we took them through some amazing, interesting experiences, like taking them to Montague Dock to grab their food that they're going to eat for the night, being able to take them to places like Exuma, downtown, and understand the nuances of what happens downtown or the history of downtown, let's say. And so we were able to kind of help curate those experiences in conjunction with the Altascape Create influencer program. So it was a match made in heaven.
Creators won't have to wait too long for the next installment of the Creative Exchange, with the team already planning for April of next year. Dean shares the vision for the program's growth.
The Creative Exchange is something that we intend to always be rooted in the Bahamas, perhaps a biannual or an annual event that will bring creators from all over the world here in the Bahamas for workshops and seminars and, understanding how to monetize their career or how to be more impactful. But also cultural immersion here in the Bahamas, right? We want to stimulate also the orange economy, and the creators that came have a combined following of over 3 million followers, and their influence is significant. So we want to continue to build on that and bring more tourists to the Bahamas and really elaborate on the creative space.
Members matter to the Bahamas National Trust, and to prove that, they're hosting several events to show their appreciation. Early this month, the environmental organization launched the campaign by hosting an exclusive event at Bahamar. And this past Saturday, the BNT held a sip and paint at its Village Road retreat. Our Danielle Miller tells us all about it in this report tonight.
The Bahamas National Trust is continuing their membership appreciation campaign, and I was told that I was coming to a sip and paint. But what they didn't tell me was I had to trade in my heels for Crocs as we bird watch.
We see today, we saw red-legged thrashers, we saw warblers, we heard
We heard a few birds, but you didn't get to see them.
That's BNT member and CEO of Women's Haven Bahamas, Meredith Johnson Evans, describing the sights and sounds of Saturday morning's serene sip and paint at the BNT's retreat on Village Road. We began our adventures at 8 a.m. BNT's Director of Development, Clementra McCoy, says the early start was no coincidence, as it coincided with the perfect bird watching hours.
We wanted persons, early risers of course, to come out and get the full benefit of those birds that are out at the crack of dawn. We weren't. We were here at 8, but you still got to see them, and as they started to wake up and move around, of course, you're able to walk through, take your photos. We had binoculars provided for the members as well.
Following our bird watching quest, we gathered under the pavilion for sip and paint, with endless mimosas provided by event partner Southern Glazers. This sip and paint was unique. The BNT swapped easels for bird houses that were assembled and painted by guests. Membership officer and event lead Alana Cox says they wanted to do something out of the box and give their members an experience rather than an event.
Paint and sips are very popular here, but I wanted to add a little spice. I wanted to spice it up. So while bird watching, I wanted our members to be able to take a souvenir home, so they get to paint a bird house and then they'll be able to hang it up at home.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Danielle Miller.
Thanks, Danielle, and thank you for joining us for Our News Weekend. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Berthany McDermott. We'll see you right back here for Our News at 7 and 7:30. Make it a great week, everyone.
Hey guys, Megan Shepherd here. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Just click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so you stay up to date with content like this from the team you already trust.